What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. So this is happening to the headlight, and it's even worse on this side. This side is just completely gone. The only tiny bit that's working is right there, and this one is about to go out. As you can see, they're flickering on this side. This one has a few LEDs that are gone, so we need to replace those ASAP. These are custom headlights. They have been worked on by another shop. Since the ownership changed and my friend bought this car, that warranty disappeared as well. So they're not gonna be replacing or fixing the headlights, unfortunately. So today we're gonna be taking these off and replacing them with OEM ones from Facebook Marketplace. Now, the first thing you'll want to do is jack up the car. And what I did was I went ahead and just raised the car a little bit using some wood planks. From there, I got enough clearance underneath the front bumper to get to that center jack point right there. I jacked up the car just enough where I can get the jack stands at the lowest position, so that way there's no chance of them failing or anything. I got them to the lowest position, put them under the jack points, which are right there. They're like rubber pucks. From there, I just lowered the car onto the jack stands, and now I should be able to pull this out. And we just gotta remember, before we lower the car with the jack again, we do gotta put our wood planks back in just so we have enough clearance and we don't ruin the front bumper. So just be careful of that when putting everything back together. Once you have the hood opened up, the first thing you're gonna wanna remove is this little gasketing, and that's gonna reveal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bolts that you're gonna have to remove for the top side of the bumper. So you're gonna have 6 T30s, which are gonna be the bolts in the front, and then you're gonna have 2 T27s, which are these two, which are mounted closer to the headlight itself. So I'm gonna start with the T30s and then just go from there. So once you get those 6 removed, you're gonna have to remove this one, and then same thing on this side. And this is actually gonna be a T25 rather than a T27. So take the T25 and start removing those two. It should be pretty quick. Now that we got everything on the top side of the car unbolted, now we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the wheels and start working through this wheel well liner. Remove that. So that way we're working top down. We can slowly remove everything. And I'll go ahead and start with this wheel, work my way to the other side, and then start working on the actual wheel well liner. Now that we have both the wheels off, we can get access to the wheel well liner, and there is a bunch of bolts here. So you got one back there, one right there, one right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Once you get those 7 and 8 right there loosened up, you should be able to pull off this front side of the wheel well liner. They should be able to pop right out. From there, you can detach the bolts that hold the actual bumper to the fender itself. But first, we'll go ahead and tackle this and get this out the way. Now we should be able to pull this entire fender liner out. Actually, we missed one right here. Now we should be able to pull it all out. Obviously be careful not to scratch the paint. And looks like we missed one more right up here. Once you have the wheel well liner out, you can actually see the back of the headlight, and you can see some of the screws that are holding the headlight in, which is this one right here. There is another one way back there. Once you get the wheel well liner out, it's pretty simple. Now you have the actual bumper bolts themselves, or screws. Those are also going to be an 8mm. They are a little bit longer, so you know which ones go where. And then you have the one back. And now your bumper should be loose enough for you to pull off, but everything else is still connected, so we're gonna go ahead do the same thing on the other side. So now to loosen it up from the bottom side of the bumper, there is going to be a number of 8 mils all across the bottom of the bumper. So you have a few 8 mils connected to this front end piece right here, and then you also got to remove this back one from this plate so that this plate comes out as well. So this is actually going to be removed. So that's one 8 mil right there, 3 right here on this top, on this front end, and you're going to go ahead and remove those. Same thing on the opposite side, 1 back there, 3 up here in the front, and then I am going to remove all of these. With the bumper actually loose, as you can see, there is a gap between the fender and the bumper itself. I'm going to go ahead and add a strip of tape right across this edge so we don't scratch anything. The last thing I want is the bumper coming off, scratching up the fender when we're taking it off or on later on in the process. So just going to add a few strips of tape here to make sure we're keeping everything safe. And we should be good to do the same thing on the other side. Now that we got both sides taped up, there is a sensor right here that you're going to want to remove. This is for this camera right here. And to take these out, it's as simple as clicking this little clip right here and yanking, and that should pop out. So then you can leave that dangling. Now everything should be loosened up here for the most part, and as you can see, this is the headlight washer fluid pump right here. So we're gonna have to remove that in a second, but let's go ahead and remove the sensor from the other side first. If your car does not have these headlight washers, you can actually call it a day here and just pull the bumper off, or so I think. But with these, it does get a little bit trickier. I'm gonna show you guys on this side how to do it in a few easy steps, and you should be able to get this removed. So the first part of it is you're gonna have to pull the bumper back or forward just a little bit, and you should be able to touch somewhere that pushes this entire mechanism out. From there, you can pull it all the way out, just hold the shaft a little bit, and you're gonna take this painted cover, pull outwards on both of the clip edges. So let's get one side first, and you can let this retract back in. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what holds this painted piece to the actual washing housing. So once you have that front piece off, there is gonna be 2 tabs that you're gonna wanna pull to the right side, so towards that side, and you can see it right there. Not sure if you guys can see it without the light, but you're gonna be trying to pull this tab right here. It's a little black tab, and you're gonna push it towards the center of the car, and as you're doing so, you're gonna have to pull the actual pump outwards. So you're gonna pull this piece back, push those tabs. There is gonna be one on the top, and then there is another on the bottom of it. Not sure how well you guys can see, but there's 2 of them. So what I went ahead and did was I pushed like this with one finger, and then took my other hand, went from the back side and pulled that hose mechanism. So I'm just gonna do that again real quick. So again, there's one on the bottom right here next to my index finger. I'm gonna grab the other one by my thumb, and I'm gonna pull towards the center of the car, and then should be able to pull this entire assembly out, and you can see it coming back slowly. Come on. And I think we got it. There we go. So now that we have that loosened up, we can go ahead and disconnect the actual tube from the bumper itself, because there is a tube that goes to the other headlight housing over there on the other side. We'll worry about that in a second. Honestly, I think this part is probably the hardest part about this entire process, but take your time with it. Don't push the tabs too hard towards the center of the car because they can break. They are prone to breaking. So once you get that out, you should be able to remove this entire side of the bumper, and then this side will come off just a little bit. You're gonna have to untuck the hose that goes across the bumper, and you should be good to go. So let me go ahead and pull this off real quick. One thing I almost forgot is that there is an electrical wire that is connected to the bumper and then the rest of the harness. It does have two little clips that sit right into the bumper. So I pulled those out first so that I have better access to the side clips. This one seems to already be broken, so I'm not gonna worry about that one. This one should be kind of a push, but I've been kind of prying at it and it hasn't been working. So I'm just gonna push and then slightly go in underneath with screwdriver, and now should be able to pull this out. But apparently it does take a lot of there we go. So once you get that wiring harness off, the only thing that's left connected to the bumper is this hose, which holds the washer fluid. There is going to be a few clips across the bumper, so you're just going to pull that out. Now, as you can see, we got it all loose, and this should be good to come out now. Now this car does have this license plate wiring right here. Seems to be broken, so I'm not too worried about it. But just to recap everything that I did, I first loosened up all the bolts on the top of the bumper. From there, went to the wheel well liners, removed all the screws that went to that, then loosened up the actual bumper to fender bolts, which are right here. From there, I did that on both sides, obviously. And then from there, the main issues that you're gonna run into, if you have them, are these, the headlight washers. So there's gonna be two clips on both of those. You're gonna push inwards and pull at the same time. And then lastly, you're gonna have this last wiring harness that needs to get disconnected. That should be the case for most people. And then from there, it's just a matter of removing the actual hose from the bumper itself, and the entire bumper should come off the car pretty easily. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. I was actually expecting a lot more. I was expecting it to be a little bit more difficult, but it wasn't too bad. So now I guess it's the easy part, if you want to call it that, to get the actual headlight out. As you can see, these are custom because of the amount of wires that are in here. I opened it up just to check, but saw all this in here. So to take the actual headlight out, it's 4 screws or bolts, whatever you want to call them. Starting with this one. The next one being right there. And then you're gonna have one more bolt right in here, so just loosen that one up. And then the last one is actually a little bit of a tricky one to get to. So this is the headlight, and like the rest of them, this is gonna be a T30 as well. This bolt right here was a T30, and this bolt actually sits way down here. You can see my socket connected to it right there. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and attach the gun to it and hopefully loosen this up in one go. And I'm gonna hold the headlight at the same time, just in case. I think we're good. Now let's see if this headlight comes out. Make sure we got everything. Looks like we got everything. Now just the actual wires that are connected to it. So yeah, just like that, you got those 4 bolts or 4 screws or 4 different ones. So you got 2 T30s, you got a 10 mil, or 3 T30s. Yeah, that one's still sitting in the actual place. It's not fully out yet, or it is, I just haven't. So now we just start unplugging the actual wires themselves. We should be good to go. So the back of this headlight had two clips attached to it. One was this one right here. I just pressed very, very hard against these two pieces right here on the top and the bottom. And then this one was very simple. This one, I just kind of pull backwards a little bit. That came out, so nothing too crazy. I think this one is the one that goes into that camera on the side, so we don't gotta worry about that one right now. But yeah, I think that's it. We got the headlight disconnected. So now it's just a matter of bringing in the new one, making sure it all works. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So since these were aftermarket headlights, we did have an extra plug, and that is sitting right here. These are usually for any aftermarket headlights that have different DRLs. So we have that sitting in the engine bay. That did confuse me for a bit, but now I did follow the wiring all the way down to the fuse box. We have all this extra wiring that we're gonna pull out, take out. It looks like it's connected to the positive and the negative terminals. We'll just quickly remove it, get this headlight out as well, and it should be as simple as putting the new ones in, plugging them back in with just the stock wiring harness, which is this bigger one right here, and we should be good. Now this one, it is fidgeting for some reason. It's not staying on, like it'll turn on sometimes, but not other times. Let's try it out real quick. See, it just flashed. So that means there's definitely some issue with it not working properly. So I don't know if you guys saw or not, but the headlights do turn on sometimes, but they're not turning on all the time, which is an issue. Sometimes they'll turn off and then not turn back on. I'm getting the headlight malfunction error message inside the car. So what I think is happening right now is because these headlights are coded to the car itself and these ones aren't. I think I might need to switch over all of our modules so that the new one is technically still the old headlight, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that. I did remove all the wiring, got that out successfully. That's all sitting here, so those are out now. Everything looks a little bit cleaner. This headlight is in now, but we're gonna have to remove it again to start switching over the modules. I'm gonna do that real quick, but if you're watching this video to just get the bumper off, then you're good to go, you're done. But if you're like me, switching out the headlights, this is probably an issue you're gonna run into unless you're gonna be coding the new headlights yourself, which I don't know how to do, nor do I know anyone that knows how to do that. So I'm gonna just switch over the modules and hope that works. So just ended up replacing all the modules on the back of the old headlight, right? Those are the modules that are actually coded towards the car. And these are the ones out of the new headlight. So we can put these into this one, just keep them on the side, whatever we wanna do with them. But now we have all the coded modules back into the new headlight. And let's see if it works. Moment of truth. Looks like it's working. Let's go ahead and turn the headlights on real quick. And they are working. Nice. As you guys can see from all the mess, we got all the modules switched over. And now it's just a matter of making sure that everything is turning on. So can you turn on the regular headlights? And then high beam. Okay, that's working. That's working. Turn signals. On this side. And then hazards. Okay, looks like everything's working then. So now that we have the headlights in, both sides, they're both working. I think I'm just gonna call it here for today's video because it's gonna take quite some time to put everything back together and I need the video to go out tomorrow, so still need time to edit it and so on. But I think in the next video, you guys should see the entire front end back together. Bumper on, headlights mounted back into where they're supposed to. I'll clean everything up and get this car back out of the garage because we have so many parts for the Charger and the E30 just waiting and sitting around the house. And we need to get on those ASAP because, I mean, those are my cars. Gotta stop neglecting them. So if this video was helpful, definitely go down and subscribe, comment what you thought of the video. I know it's a little bit more detailed and intricate. A lot of people might not find that too entertaining, but for anyone who's wondering how to remove the bumper and the headlights on F80 M3, this was a video for you guys. So again, appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.